You write that it was Meloni who famously declared proudly that she is a woman, a mother, a Christian and an Italian. Now, Rocco, half of those words are now essentially banned in Victoria. Do you think that the moderate Liberals could do something as bold as declare their biological gender and their parenthood status?
Well, of course they should. Whether they do is obviously another story. They're just too spooked. And we had Matthew Guy running around, what was it, last week, blaming everyone but himself for losing twice. I mean, people had to look at him twice and said, no thanks, we'll just stick with what we know. But you see, when leaders around the world actually stick up for those kind of things, they are rewarded. We're seeing that in the United States. And these aren't extreme right-wing policies, these are just common sense. And Meloni has managed to find a way where you can put forward those policies without seeming to be too extreme and too far to the right. She obviously is opposed to abortion, but she knows that for her to try and reverse legal abortion in Italy would be political suicide. So she's argued a common sense position where you say, well, look, doctors are able to act on their conscience and not refer women for abortions. And this is a woman whose mother actually was going to go and have an abortion but changed her mind. The thing about Meloni is that she also argues these things from, as I say, a philosophical base, but as we know that the Victorian Liberals wouldn't be able to have a philosophical pillar to stand on even if they tried. So at the moment, if they were to take a stand on these positions, people would either think, well, look, maybe too little too late or about time, but you wonder whether they would actually be convincing about it. They haven't been able, they've vacated the field on all these things for so many years. You wonder whether now, if they were to do it, people would ridicule them for doing so because, well, we really don't think you believe that because you haven't argued for it in the past. So why are you changing your mind now? You're just going over with the same, you're just following the focus group type attitude polling where you, rather than actually leading, you're following. And that's the other problem with the Victorian Liberals. They just follow. They don't lead. They don't set out and they don't argue with conviction.
Well, I think we might die of shock if the Victorian Liberals found their spines all of a sudden. But moving on to your piece in the magazine this week, it covers the mysterious and dangerous world of religion inside the Communist Empire of China, where Xi Jinping has struck up a secret agreement with the Catholic Church. Do we know exactly what this deal entails, or is it kind of a little bit hush-hush, whispers and shadows?
Well, we're not supposed to know because it's a secret agreement, but we've managed to find out, or journalists have managed to find out, close to the source, that this agreement requires any time a bishop is appointed by the Chinese Communist Party that the Vatican and indeed the Pope gets the final sign-off. But of course the Chinese Communist Party, being what it is, doesn't believe in honouring agreements. And the last two appointments, one in November last year and one 2 weeks before Easter, the Chinese Communist Party decided to appoint bishops, one to Shanghai, which of course is the largest city in China, so probably the most important see in China, and didn't bother to tell the Vatican, and the Vatican found out through the media. So and Cardinal Zen, the former Bishop of Hong Kong, who's been persecuted by the Chinese regime, tried to warn the Pope about all this in 2020, and when he went to Rome to see the Pope refused to see him. So we all know where the Pope's loyalties lie on this. And it's not with faithful Catholics, that's for sure.